Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Food Culture and More. Today, I am here to give some insight and knowledge about whether the food culture that we were following since a very long time, our grandmothers and mothers, everyone was practicing, and we have been taught the same since childhood. Does it really helps in weight loss? Or do we need to modify or change our conventional system of food culture and bring about a change in our lifestyle at the same by incorporating certain exotic or certain unconventional foods in our Indian culture for the weight loss? Do we need that? So stay tuned for this information related video. Thank you. As we all know, the Indian diets are predominantly dominated by the presence of ample amount of carbohydrates. Nevertheless, from which region do we belong? We include a lot amount of carbohydrates in our diet in form of wheat, rice, millets, or maybe fermented items for breakfast, or maybe as tiffins like idli or dosa. So, question lies that whether these items can be followed in a weight loss, or do we need to completely stop them or introduce certain item like oats, quinoa, brown rice, etc. and etc. in our diet for the aid of weight loss. Definitely oats, quinoa, brown rice is very beneficial and healthy and nutritious from all points of view, but the original and the indigenous sources of carbohydrates in our Indian foods are great source of fibers, great source of essential certain vitamins, minerals, etc. Don't go in a rush, or don't go by the names that is being highlighted exotically in many places, and there has been a great emphasis on that. There is no need to stop rice in weight loss. There is no need to stop wheat or rotis in weight loss. There is no need to replace your conventional idli and dosa and replace it with something which is unfavorable for you or your in a long term to follow that. There is actually no need. So you can continue with your conventional carbohydrate sources. So next is protein. So when this name comes, people are very much cautious and very much confused that should we go to a protein diet, should we take lot of isolate and concentrate and bottles of proteins that are available commercially for the weight loss and stuff. I would say no, not completely. In some cases it may be required, but not in all cases. You can do a proper weight loss by following the original and the natural sources that we are using, be it sprouts, dals, beans, chickpeas, etc. for the vegetarians, or it may be eggs or chicken, or it can be fish, it can be curds for the non-vegetarians, everything. So in regard to, I want to tell, it is exclusively for those patients or those people who are completely in fit and fine health, think of health, and there is no associated any problems related to their medical history or any health related issues. So in that case, a normal person can achieve the protein from the natural sources. So the long time thing that we are having, be it having curd daily in our diet, be it adding sprouts in our diet, be it having dosa with dals and rice combination, be it having normal plain dal, sabzi, rice, khichdi, all are good for weight loss. There is no need to add or stuff your body with excess or this commercial based proteins. So next is fats. The moment the name fats come, everyone gets too much scared. Oh no, I don't want fats because it will make me weight gain. Oh, I don't want fat, it will make me bulky. But no, in certain limits and proportions, if you take the fats, they are also very much essential for our well-being, because certain hormones, especially the steroid hormones, require fat for their synthesis. Also, fats are required for the formation of essential fatty acids. That is very, very important for our normal functioning of the body, skin, hair. Fats are also required for the formation of fat-soluble vitamins, which are excellent antioxidants in nature. So no, fats are not our enemy. Yes, there are some, if I can say, healthy fats that we can obtain from nuts. We can obtain it from the plant-based oils. Ghee is also excellent source of fat. It has been multifariously used in various medicines and in extensively as a beneficiary item, as mentioned in Ayurveda. So fats are not our enemies. Yes, you should be restricting certain fats based upon your health needs, and as far as weight loss is concerned, yes, in certain things we want to limit, but not all fats. Fats are not our enemies, and there is no need to completely stop or go on eating boiled and go on eating tasteless foods. There is absolutely no need to go in a complete no fat diet. So now coming to the more, which is our motto. So in that more today, the point of discussion will be the upsurging rise in people's consumption of this multivitamins and multiminerals. I see a lot of people tell that they are or taking some biotin tablets or multivitamins or zinc capsules or something on their own, thinking that they have some problem or they might have, so it's better to take the vitamin supplements. But if we go back few years, our mothers, grandmothers taking any kind of multivitamin capsules, unless and until any specific condition required that and it has been prescribed, then only they used to take, or they might not so much, it was not relevant. So situation is still relevant in this point of context and this era also. So there is no need, no particular need to excessively take any macro or micronutrient. Just as carbohydrate, protein, fats excess can have multifarious or side effects in our body, similarly goes for vitamins and minerals. There is a term called hypervitaminosis and hypermineralosis. So these can be dangerous. If too much iron is being taken, it can damage your liver. It is a condition is called hemosiderosis. So excess vitamin A consumption can also be really greatly harmful for our body. Every vitamin needed to be taken in their specific limits. There is no need that if you are over consuming any specific vitamin, it will be helpful for you. No, it is not. So don't go in the rush to have capsules after capsules, thinking that I will not have any vitamin deficiency. Okay, great, it's very cool to have it. So no, it's not that. Rather, if what are the possible sources of vitamin? Like vitamin A is found in all green, yellow, red, orange colored vegetables and fruits. Vitamin C, as we all know now, owing to this pandemic situation and having our knowledge from somewhere, so we know by this time. Still, I want to give you an input. All citrus fruits, you all might know vitamin C, but do you know that guava is also an excellent source of vitamin C? And amla, the normal amloki in Bengali, it is the richest source of vitamin C that is available. So if you are consuming these sources viable, few examples I gave, although you can get a ready supply of vitamins and minerals in our body. For example, minerals, calcium, the richest source is milk, as we all know. But small fishes, for the non-vegetarian or the fish eaters, small fishes with the bones, they are very good source of calcium too. So just look around and just get a walk down the lanes of our food culture. Food, it is always surrounding us with all the macro and micronutrients that we need. Nature has blessed us with all the steady supply of foods from which we can give our body the most nutritious gift of health.
So as I always say, until next time we meet, take care, stay safe, stay healthy, stay home. Thank you so much for watching my video.